सत्यमेव जयते नानितम् उत्थटिष्ठं जाग्रत प्राप्य वरानेत्रबोधतो. Welcome everyone who is live in this session. Today it is 5:50 a.m. in the morning and we are live with this second episode of Know Your Sanatana. In this episode, we will be enchant the introduction of the Sanatana depicted in this 106-year-old script or manuscript. This is here for you. The Sanatana Dharma is not a religion, it is a lifestyle, it is a divine code of living a good human life. Mangalam Dishatu No Vinayaka, Mangalam Dishatu Namo Saraswati, Mangalam Dishatu Nama Samandarcha, Mangalam Dishatu Nama Maheshwari. Sanatana Dharma means the eternal religion, the ancient law, and it is based on the Vedas, sacred books given to men by long ages ago. This religion has also been called the Aryan religion, because it is the religion that was given to the first nation of the Aryan race. Arya means the noble, and the name was given to a great race, further finer in character and appearance than the races which went before. It is the world's history. The first families of these people settled in the northern part of the land, now called India, and the part in which they first settled was named Aryabrata because these Aryans lived in it. The land from the eastern ocean of the western ocean between the two mountains, Himavan and Vaidya, the wise call Aryabrata. In later days, the religion was called the Hindu religion, and this is the name by which it is now usually known. It is the oldest of living religion, and no other religion has produced so many great men, great teachers, great writers, great sages, great saints, great kings, great warriors, great statesmen, great benefactors, great patriots. The more you know of it, the more you will honor and love it, and the more thankful you will be that you were born into it. But less than you grow up worthy of it, this great and holy religion will do you no good. The basis of Sanatana Dharma. The ancient religion is based on one strong foundation on which are created the walls of its structure. The foundation is called Shruti. Shruti, that which has been heard, the well, are called Samriti. Samriti, that which has been remembered. The Shruti has been given through very wise men who heard it and received it from Devas. These sacred teachings were not written down till comparatively modern times, but were learnt by heart and constantly repeated. The teacher sang them to his people, and the pupil sang them after him a few words at a time, or over and over again till they knew them thoroughly. Boys still learn the Shruti in the same way as their forefathers learnt it in very ancient days. And you may hear or heard them chanting it in any Vedic Pathshala at the present time, mean the 100-year-old. And back in the 100 years, the Shruti consists of the Chaturveda, the four Vedas. Vedas mean knowledge that which is known, and the knowledge which is the foundation of religion is given to man in the four Vedas. They are named Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda. Each Veda is divided into three parts: Mantra, Brahmaragam, Upanishad. Mantra or Samhita is the collection, and Brahmaragam then Upanishad. The mantras portion consists of mantras or sentences in which the order of sounds has a particular power to produce certain effects. These are in the form of hymn to the devas, whose relation to man we shall study presently, and when they are properly chanted by properly instructed people, certain results follow. These are used in religious ceremonies, and the values of the ceremony depends clearly over their proper repetition. The Brahmana portion of the Vedas consists of direction about ritual and explains how to perform the ceremonies in which were used the mantras given in the first part, and further stories connected with them. The Upanishad portion consists of the deep philosophical teachings on the nature of Brahman, on the supreme and the separated self, on man and the universe, on bondage and liberation. It is the foundation of all philosophy, and when you are man, you may study it and delight in it. Only highly educated men can study it. It is too difficult for others. So that's why we bring this episode to you live in the morning, and then after it will be available on the podcast of SBR. There was a fourth part of the Veda in the ancient days, sometimes called the Upaveda or Tantram. This consisted of science and of practical instruction based on the science, but very little of the true ancient Tantra remained, as the Rishis took them away as unsuitable for times in which people were less spiritual. Some Tantras form of ritual ray are however used in worship along with or inside of the current Vedic forms. The book now extant under the name of the Tantra are generally not regarded as part of the Veda. That which is found in the Shruti is of supreme authority and is accepted by every faithful follower of the Sanatana Dharma as final. All the philosophical system appeal to the Shruti as the final authority determining every dispute. The Shruti or Dharma Shastra is founded on and stand next in authority to the Shruti, and consists of four great works written by sages, the chief content of which are law and regulation for the carrying on individual, family, social and national life. And the society is founded on and governed by these laws. They are Manu Samriti, Manav Dharmam Shastra, Manu Samriti or Manav Dharmam Shastram, the institutes of Manu, Yajnavalkya Samriti, Shankalikita Samriti and Parashurama Samriti, Parashara Samriti. The first of these is the chief compendium of Arya laws, Manu being the great lawgiver of the race, Hindu chronology divided the history of a word into 7 great periods or cycle of time, each of which is begun and is ended by a Manu, and is therefore called a Manvatra, Manu Antara, between two Manus. 6 other Manus, very great-minded and of great splendor, belonging to the race of this Manu, the descendant of Swayambhu, have each produced beings. As there are 2 Manus for each Manu Vatra, that shows how we are in the 4th Manu Vatra under the rule of the 7th Manu. Who is the next shloka tells us the son of Vivasta, some of his laws are handed down in the manuscript or Manu Samriti. The Gyananta Samriti follows the same general line as the Manu Samriti and is next in importance to it. The other 2 are not now much studied or referred to except in some part of southern India. While the Shruti and the Samriti are the foundation of the walls of the Sanatana Dharma, there are 2 other important supports like butterness, the Puranas and the Itihasam, the history. The Purana consists of the history and stories and allegories composed for the use of the less learned part of the nation, especially for those who could not study the Vedas. They are very interesting to read and are full of information of all kinds. Some of the allegories are difficult to understand and require the help of a teacher. The Ishita comprises 2 great poems, the Ramaya Ragam, the history of Shri Ramachandra, the son of King Dashratha and of his wife Sita and his brother, a most interesting and delightful story, as you all know. The Mahabharata, the history of Kaurava and the royal family of northern India, which split into 2 parts, the Kurus and the Pandavas, between whom a great war broke out. It contained an immense number of beautiful stories, noble moral teachings and useful lessons of all kinds. These 2 books, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which is called as epics, and Mahabharata, tell us most of what we know about ancient India, about her people and customs, and her ways of living, and her art and her manufacture. If you read these, you will learn how great India once was, and you will also learn how you must behave to make her great once more. The science and philosophy of Sanatana Dharma, which the Shruti and Samriti, the Puranas and the Ishita make the edifice of Hindu religion. We find that the religion itself has given rise to a splendid literature of science and philosophy. The science was divided into the Pandagani, Shaddagani, the 6 Angas, literary limbs, and these 6 limbs or branches comprised what would now be called secular knowledge. In the old days, religious and secular knowledge were not divided. They included grammar, philosophy, astrology, poetry, together with the 6 4 sciences and art, and the method by which study should be carried on, so that anyone who mastered the 6 Angas was a man of varied and deep learning. The philosophy also has 6 divisions, the Shatdarshanani, the 6 darshana or the ways of seeing things, usually called the 6th system, they all are one object. They putting an end to pain by enabling the separated human slaves into reunite with the Supreme Self. And they all have one method, the development of Jnanam, the wisdom. The ways employed are different to suit the different mental constitutions of men, so that they are like 6 different roads all leading to one town. As to what is contained in the 6th system of philosophy, it will be enough for boys to know this. The Naya and the Vaishakita arrange all the things of the world into a certain number of kinds, then point out that a man knows all things by means of his sense or by inference and analogy, or by testimony of other wise and experienced men, and then they explain how God has made all this material world out of atom and molecules. Finally, they show how the highest and most useful knowledge is the knowledge of God, who is also the inmost spirit of man, and how this knowledge is obtained in various ways. The Shakya explains in more detail and in new ways the nature of a Purusha spirit, and of Prakriti matter, and a relation of each to the other. The yoga says that as there are now generally known 5 senses and 5 organs of action, so there are other subtle sense and organs, and explain more fully how they may be developed by men who are seeking to know God, who is their own true inmost spirit. The Mimamsa explains what karma is. For example, the action, both religious and worldly, and what are its consequences, causes and effect, and how it bind man to this world or to another. The Vedanta finally tells fully what is the exact and true nature of God and Atma, and shows that Jiva of man is the essence, the same as this inmost God, and explain how many men live so that karma shall not bind him. And finally, by understanding what the Maya Shakti of God is, by which all this world comes forth and appear and disappear, how he may, after practice of yoga, merge himself into and become one with God, and so gain moksha. The chapter 1, the one existence. There is one infinite, eternal, changeless existence, the all. From that all comes forth, to that all returns, one only without a second, that include within itself all that ever has been, is and can be. As a wave rises in the ocean, a universe rises in the all. As the waves sink again into the ocean, a universe sinks again into the all. As the ocean is water and the wave a form or a manifestation of the water, so is there one existence, and the universe is a form or manifestation of the existence. All this verily is Brahman. This is the primary truth of religion. Men have given to the all many different names. The name is the Sanatana Dharma is Brahman. English speaking people use the name God, adding to make the meaning clear. God in his own nature. Sometimes the Hindu speaks of all as Nirgama Brahmana, Nirguna Brahmana, the Brahman without attributes, or the unconditioned Brahman. This is to distinguish the unmanifested state of Brahman, the all form the manifested state, in which Brahman is called the Saguna Brahmana, the Brahman with attributes, or the conditioned Brahman, the supreme Ishvara with his universe. These are called the two states of Brahman. The subject is very difficult, and it is enough for a boy to understand that the Saguna Brahmana is Brahmana revealed, not a second, but Brahmana singing, shining forth as the one, the great Lord of being, thoughts and bliss. He is the self-existence one, the root and cause of all beings. He is also sometimes called Purushottama, the Supreme Spirit, the Self. With himself as the Spirit, he reveals the other side of the all, which is named Mula Prakriti, the root of matter. Prakriti, matter, is that which takes form and so can give bodies of all sort and shape and kinds. All that we can touch, taste, smell, see and hear is matter, and a great deal more beside, which our five senses are not yet dull enough to perceive the solid. Liquids and gases of the chemist are made of matter. All the things around us, stone, trees, animal, men, and are made of matter, but the whole of them is one matter, inaudible, invisible, unsmellable, untastable, intangible. The spirit is in each as Ansha, a portion of Ishvara. We call the matter part as a Shariram, the body, or the Kosh, Sheath, or a Upadhi, vehicle, that which embodies, clothes, or carries the spirit. Thus Ishvara is in everything, and it is He who gives life to all things. He is Atma. Atma, the self, the immortal, and the inner rules, dwelling in all subject, object, and there is nothing that can exist apart from Him. Ansha of him is a body of matter is called a jiva or a jivatma, a separated self. There are some very important differences between spirit and matter, as well as the different just spoken of. That the sense, when completely developed, can perceive matter, which they cannot perceive spirit, and that matter takes form while spirit is formless. It is the spirit that is life, and that thinks and feels and observes. That is I in each of us. And the spirit is one and the same is everybody and in everything but matter. Cannot think or feel or observe. It is a jad, the jadam without consciousness. And it has also the tendency to be constantly dividing itself into many forms and to become many, so that spirit and matter are said to be the opposite one of the other. Spirit is called the knower, the one that knows, while matter is called the object of knowledge, that which is known. The pupil, Shishya, should try to understand these differences and must never confuse spirit and matter. They are opposite, the first pair of opposites out of which a universe is built up. Just as spirit has three qualities, Sata, Chitta, Ananda. Sata, Chitta and Ananda being thought, power and bliss, so that matter three qualities, Tama, Raja and Sattvam. Tama, Raja, Sattvam. Inertia, mobility, rhythm. Inertia gives resistance and stability to matter. Mobility keeps matter active, moving about. Rhythm makes the movements regular. You may say, a stone does not move of itself, but science tells you that every particle in the stone's particles too small for you to see is moving rapidly and regularly to and fro. Is vibrating to use the scientific term, the Shakti or the divine power of Ishvara which makes matter begin to take form is called Maya and sometimes Devi Prakriti. Devi Prakriti, the divine Prakriti. She Krishna speaks of my divine Prakriti as my other Prakriti to higher the life element by which the universe is upheld. The student, the pupil, may think of the great pair of opposite Ishvara and Mala Prakriti standing as it were face to face and the divine power of Ishvara shining out on Mula Prakriti and making the qualities called Guna. Guna act on each other so that many forms begin to appear. This divine power is Maya and so Ishvara is called the Lord of Maya. Even young pupils must try to remember these names and what they mean, for they cannot otherwise understand the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, which every Hindu boy must try to understand. It may be well to say that the word Prakriti is generally used instead of Mula Prakriti, the prefix Mula root being usually left out. Shanayatata pravadami yajigami yajusanaste tranandatam param brahma nasatam trandatu chata sarvata pradagama shasta sarvada udit shekam sarvata shruti shalokam sarvata madratishridim sarvadai yugajam so sarvadai sarvadeshu ijatam angarkshata sarvadeshu vishnu name guna bhuktucha bahiratantram bhuratram charamavechava sadhyutava tadmadehe duradasta chakidacchatat avemakachapisheku bhivishabhigiko sthiratam bhutavartata chansayish krivasti prabhustacha ज्योतिर्षमति तयोजस्तमति परमशुमाशिजं ज्ञानशयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदवि सर्वस्वविशिष्टतम्. I will declare that which out to the be known, that which being known, immortality is enjoyed. The beginningless supreme Brahman called neither being nor being not being. Everywhere that has handed and feet, everywhere eyes, heads and mouth, all hearing, he dwelleth in the world, enveloping all, shining with all sense faculties, without any sense, unattached, supporting everything and free from qualities, enjoying qualities, without and within all beings, immovable and also movable by a reason of his subtle, indistinguishable and hand far away in that. Not divided and amended beings and yet seated distributively, that is too known as the supporter of being. He devours and he generates. That the light of all lights is said to be beyond darkness, wisdom, the object of wisdom, by wisdom to be reached, seated in the heart of all. Asedidam tamobhushatam pragyatamam kshanaragam apratyapraktam ameksham prastutinam sarvatam tata swayam bhugarbhaname namyato vyaktate yajbhajanam tremadam महाभूति बृंदच प्रदुराह सीतो मूलुद योजनाम सावितनिन्द्रये ग्राह्यम शुद्धतायां सनातनम सूर्यभं तम योजनाय च स एच स्वयं मुद्भव. This was in the form of darkness unknown without mark or homogeneous, attainable by reasoning, unknowing wholly as it were in sleep. Then the self-existence, the Lord, unmanifested but making manifest. These are great elements, and the rest appeared with mighty power, dispeller of darkness. He who can be grasped by that which is beyond the sense, stable, unmanifest, ancient, containing all being, inconceivable, even he himself shone forth. Aham matma गुणशंका सर्वतः भूताय स्थिति अहम आदिश्च मध्यम च भूताननम एव च. I, O Gudakesha, am the self, seated in the heart of all being. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. Dvamemo Purusho Loke Chattashakshara Eva च क्षर सर्वांग्नि भूतानि कुटेश्वर उच्यते उत्तमं पुरुषार्थं परमं विद्युतः यो लोकत्रयमाय विश्यते विभूष्य वैश्वर समात क्षरमादित ओम तदाति ज्योतमं श्रुतस्वमे लोको वेदो न प्रथित पुरुषोत्तम. There are two Purushastra in this world, the destructible and the indestructible. The destructible is all being, the unchanging is called the indestructible. The highest Purusha is variable, another declared as the Supreme Self. He also prevailing all, sustains the three world, the indestructible Ishvara. Since I excel the destructible and am more excellent also than the indestructible in the world and in the Veda, I am proclaimed Purushottama. Mame Vasho Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatanam Manashastina Nindra Gyani Prakriti Sataye Karshati. A portion of mine own self transformed in the word of life into an immortal spirit, driveth around itself the sense of which the mind is the sixth wheel in matter. Swama Sarvate Bhushatu Nishtanda Parameshwarama Vinshyavi Nishchateya Paschati Sa Paschatam Yada Bhuva Prishtanaya Shabakemo Prastanu Pashyati Tata Evam Cha Vistaram Brahma Samapadhetada Tatha Prakasha Yattaketa Kastini Lokamin Ravi Jnanetra Netra Chadetri Chokristanam Prakashyate Bharata. Seated equally in all beings, the Supreme Ishvara, unperishing, built in the perishing, he who thus saith the seed. When he perceived the diversified existence of being as rooted in one and separated forth from it, then he reached Brahmana. As the one sun illuminates the world, whole earth, so the Lord of the field illuminates the whole field. Om Brahata. Bhumirapo Gyano Vayukh Mano Buddhirevacha Ahankara Ityate Mamma Vitra Prakriti Dhrishtada Apera Yameti Swamatayam Prakriti Vidhime Paramam Jiva Bhuta Mavahado Yodahi Dharmate Jagato. Earth, water, fire, air, other, mind and reason, also and egoism. These are the eightfold division of my Prakriti. This is the inferior. Know my other Prakriti, the higher, the life element, O mighty, armed by which the universe is upheld. Sattva Rajatam iti gunata Prakriti Swambhavadam Nirvabadati Mahabhavadev Dehi Dehi Vyayamam Sattva Raja Tamasa. These are the gunas born of Prakriti. They bind fast in the body. O great armed one, the indestructible dweller in the body.